The writer's strike is over. James Gunn re-clarifies that nothing is canon until Creature Commandos. He also has more names of actors reprising their previous DCEU roles, and names a fantastic comic as inspiration for Superman Legacy. All that and more, right here on DC On Screen, right after these words from our mystery sponsors.
Are you struggling to conceive? You have options, and at Piedmont Reproductive Endocrinology Group, we'll make sure you have the guidance and support you need. PREG is known for individualized fertility care that's unique to every patient. We take the time to provide a reassuring and empowering experience because we believe that you deserve nothing less. Let us help you on your journey to parenthood. Visit us at pregonline.com to learn more. Get the guidance and support you need at Piedmont Reproductive Endocrinology Group.
Welcome into DC On Screen, the podcast, bringing you news and reviews of the DC Comics multiverse on film and television since 2015. I am your host, David C. Robertson. This is my trusty and some say wily co-host, Jason Goss.
Rawr.
Wily like a coyote from the depths of the fast food littered forests.
Like a coyote,
Trustful.
that should have been
Part man, part coyote. Goss roams the suburbs, hungry for chicken wine and DC back issues.
Only if they're out of a dumpster, in either case.
Yeah. Sure. Gotta save that old copy of Bernie Wrightson's Swamp Thing, or...
Yeah, and we're in Alabama, and particular spot of it, so it's like, yeah, and he drinks out of the salmonella-ridden waters of the Cahaba. Every day is a duel with death. Sorry.
Why are there so many dead possums in the Cahaba?
Will this be, finally, when the food poisoning gets him?
Not bloody likely, he screams from the toilet.
So
what's up, man?
No, not much.
We don't have a lot of news.
Nah, it's going to be pretty light on that.
But we have James Gunn expounding a bit. And I think it's easy to understand. I'm sure you'll think it's easy to understand. People are still acting like this is the worst thing that's ever happened, and none of them know what the hell's happening.
I'm curious now.
It's like the DC fan base is like 70% of the Lost fan base when they watch that final episode. They're just dumbfounded and angry as hell. Before we get into that, though, I do want to thank the patrons over at patreon.com/DC on screen. $1 a month.
Lifeblood.
Yeah, our lifeblood.
Reason
We
this fucker gets recorded every time.
Yeah, pretty much. So we just recorded a warm up for this episode. It was just us talking about various things, and you can see what it sounds like when we have a conversation that's not guided by notes. We're just all over the place. A couple of ADHD
less
bastards.
guided by notes.
Yeah. So yeah, $1 a month gets you every normal episode ad free, and if you pay $5 a month, you will get random new stuff included, like this warm up we just did. Where we talked about I don't even know, Ghostbusters and
a bunch of Disney World
stuff, and I don't even remember now, to be honest. God, how am I going to write that description?
Good luck. I know. I'm not going to tell you.
All right, let's talk about this. So we have some news from James Gunn. Someone said, I asked him the question, and he says, nothing is canon. By the way, this was on Threads. Nothing is canon until Creature Commandos next year. A sort of aperitif to the DCU. And then a deeper dive into the universe with Superman Legacy after that. It's a very human drive to want to understand everything all the time, but I think it's okay to be confused on what's happening in the DCU since no one has seen anything from the DCU yet. And he does clarify, says yes, some actors will be playing characters they've played in other stories, and some plot points might be consistent with plot points from the dozens of films, shows, and animated projects that have come from DC in the past. But nothing is canon until Creature Commandos and Legacy. Now, interestingly, he ends that with a merman emoji.
The fuck is a merman emoji?
It is literally a merman. It is a man that has a fish tail.
A fish-tailed man. Okay.
Yeah, and he has a trident. So I'm feeling like he's saying like, no, Aquaman's not canon. But he does say Zolo Maraduena will continue playing Blue Beetle in the DCU, as Viola Davis will Amanda Waller, and John Cena will Peacemaker. And then a little while later, he did confirm that Freddie Stroma as Vigilante would be in the DCU.
I like all of that. Still, I mean, doesn't it feel like he's cut back on his communication a little bit?
Well, yeah, there was a writer's strike. What was he going to say?
Well, I mean, yeah, he can't promote during that period, I know. But what he could have done was what he used to do for a long time. And then he came out and said he wasn't going to do it anymore about, batting down rumors. Because it used to be nice, remember? Remember those nice days?
Yeah.
Just somebody would say some bullshit, and like 2 hours later, you'd have Gunn with a tweet. Just, no, fuck off. That's not the thing.
Well, even the Gunn fans, the people who were excited, like the Marvel fans who were excited about Gunn, and I've talked to quite a few of them recently, and even they are like, Gunn needs to shut the hell up. He's ruining everything. Like, he's just making people mad. He's just screwing it up. Like, everyone's confused, and that seems to be the overwhelming sentiment from several camps.
Well, fine.
I'm not confused by this.
I'm really not, but okay.
This is just like when DC will reboot again, but they will leave Batman the way he was because Batman is the bestseller and no one wants to be, restarting Batman stories. Like,
I'm pretty sure we're in 2023 now, still on the DL. The Batman from New 52 is just kind of actually still canon.
Yeah. I mean,
same dude.
Yep, I think so. So this looks to me very straightforward. I feel like Gunn is going to choose who gets to stay.
We knew that. I'm just going to point out what we knew, as you said, because people are confused, and I'm confused about why sometimes. But
yeah, James has previously said, by the way, that he wants to do more with Harley Quinn, played by Margot Robbie. Mm-hmm. That's not surprising.
Nope.
He has said, and he reiterated this week, that a bunch of people from Peacemaker season 1 are going to be regulars on Waller.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be picking up the storyline from Peacemaker season 1. If it wasn't for those two people in the Justice League at the end of season 1, I would say season 1 was wholly confirmed to be DCU, but whatever.
Even then, it's the two people who are still in play.
Mm-hmm.
So, probably still pretty much canon.
I don't...
Also, whatever I have to do to get back to Eagly, just show me more Eagly.
Yeah.
Just want to see another eagle hug.
So, if you are familiar at all with comic books or science fiction, this shouldn't be difficult. And if you watch The Flash, a lot of things happen the same. And some stuff happens differently. If he doesn't want to use Cavill, if Cavill's too old for what he's doing, or whatever the reason was, even if that reason was, damn it, he's just too closely tied with Zack Snyder, I get it.
Genuinely think that's going to be a lot of it. I've wondered for a while now if it was more like, we've had some theories, but if the response was so geared, like when Cavill was announced, like, oh my God, we're getting Snyder's universe back. Like, no, you got Cavill back. If too many people jump the gun, so to speak, then yeah, that may have been the problem.
And what kills me about that is people are like, oh yeah, Snyderverse. No, you are never getting Snyderverse back as far as just having Cavill, because then a whole bunch of Snyderverse fans were mad that Cavill was saying I look forward to playing a hopeful Superman. And they were like, oh, that's some bullshit shade.
Yeah.
He's saying he's never played that before. Cavill was not dick deep into Snyder's universe. He was kind of just wanting to do his own thing. And he got a lot of blowback from the Snyder crowd on that. I was excited to see him come back.
I always felt like that was just him trying to loop in a few people who thought it wasn't hopeful.
Mm-hmm.
But that's the unfortunate part about some of that crowd, is just saying that word and trying to, get some other people more engaged. There were some other people who were just like, oh, fuck that shit. I don't know. It seems like it cost as much of the momentum as it gained.
Yeah. And to be fair to James Gunn, if Henry Cavill's return was what everybody wanted, everybody would have shown up for Black Adam, and they didn't.
Yes and no. I think there was going to be a lot of people that just didn't want to watch that movie.
Yeah.
And it got spoiled.
Sure.
It
Well, they were trying desperately to get everyone to know that, oh, hey, Cavill's in this, so you better go check it out.
Yeah. Spoiled, hit at a weird time. I don't know. The movie's better than what it got credit for in the box office, or, well, not even afterwards. Afterwards, it got decent numbers.
Yeah, it was better than it deserved, than it got, but also not great. And it could have been better. Shazam, Fear of the Gods, I enjoyed it. Could have been better. Would have been dope to see Black Adam show up in that one. And if I understand it correctly, we have Dwayne Johnson to blame for that because his ego wouldn't allow him and Shazam to be in the same thing because Shazam's not cool enough and not dark and gritty enough.
Yeah, but I think that was like a lingering dream. I mean, when he was thinking about that, that was back in the BVS days where I think he wanted to make like a proper Black Adam anti-hero movie.
Mm-hmm.
And had that come out in like 2018 or something. I don't know. I think that would have been a way better fit back then, back when it was conceived. I mean, back when he basically went into a conference room with Warner Brothers executives and I feel like did some version of the scene in Shazam where he threatened their lives and demanded, we're going to do this or I'm going to throw you out this fucking window. But it would have made more sense at the time to do a truly dark take like he wanted to, and then still have Shazam and have the meetup later. Just in a sense, so I think years passed, and it wasn't quite what it was conceived as. And as it hit, based on the universe where it stood right then, it was slightly different. Kind of I guess, pre-Justice League, post-Justice League would have been different, kind of, or especially Snyder version.
Yeah.
I think it would have hit different.
I mean, we're still dealing with Hamadaverse and all these different plans that were consistently changing.
Yeah.
And Dwayne Johnson going over people's heads, and I don't know. It's just a mess, dude. It's just a mess.
It was funny though. I would love to see the alternate universe version of all these, where it's late 23 right now, and original versions of this. Like, God, we'd have been watching trailers for like the Green Lantern sequel. Justice League 3 would have come out last year. This kind of shit.
Yeah, we'd probably have like Cyborg 2 on the way.
Yeah.
It's just...
Yeah, I mean, Flash was supposed to be out in like 18.
Yep.
Definitely would have seen that sequel by now. Probably like a fucking dark multiverse version with fucking, what's his name? Negan. What's his name? As Thomas Wayne.
Oh, yeah. Jeffrey Dean Morgan.
There you go. And it was 3
I'm
names.
getting it quicker. It
was 3 names. That's all I had right now. That's all I had in the tank right this second.
Yeah.
There's a D in there somewhere. That's all I had. But yeah, like there's an alternate universe where all of that would have happened. I would like to see it. I really would. Yeah,
me too. Fingers crossed. AI can pull it off one day.
I hadn't thought about it, but fuck it. It's the best use of AI I've heard so far is the cul-de-sacs, as it's sort of how to put it.
Like, can we just
see a real cul-de-sac? We're going to do 14 movies in this universe. Here you go.
Yeah. Like, it's just like Zack Snyder and Chris Terrio hanging out with Larry Fong or somebody, and they're just like entering prompts into an AI that's creating these giant fan films.
Mm-hmm.
Someone on Threads asked James Gunn, seriously though, why should we invest time and effort in yet another shared universe? Just build on what's already there with slight course corrections as needed. That's what he's doing.
Yeah.
James responded, if you think of anything as investing time and effort, no matter what shared universe, you definitely shouldn't be. Every story should be enjoyed and worth partaking in, and in of itself, without its attachment to an outside world. If it feels like homework, screw it. Shared universes should add fun to the individual stories, not the other way around. The individual stories and characters are much more important to me than the connections between them. Yeah. How do you feel about that?
I think I like it. I mean, as a focus, I think I like that as a starting point.
Yeah, I think I agree with him. Like, I want the shared universe, but I don't want it to be like Marvel, where like you feel like you have to have seen everything.
What, because you hate Marvel? Jesus.
No, I like Marvel.
You obstructionist bastard.
Up until Endgame,
you have been a little bit bored, but still, yeah.
Up to and including Endgame, I loved Marvel.
Yeah.
I like what they're doing, but some things more than others.
Speaking of, Loki's coming up, and
oh yeah, I'm excited.
Really excited about that.
Yeah,
but yeah, what you were saying, I like that more.
Yep. And let's see. He says, I don't know where we are with everything, as I haven't been able to talk with our writers while this has been happening. The writer's strike, which is over, by the way.
As of a few days ago.
Yeah. Although I'm very happy with the outcome, the strike was a real wrench in the process for sure. So I'll have to see where we are on everything for the next couple weeks. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I'd imagine more news out in the not too distant future. So looks like we're going to be starting to gear back up on the show again.
A little bit more news. But, for his sake, the writers thing was probably the most, the thing he needed out of the way the earliest, I guess.
Uh-huh.
I don't think he's trying to shoot anything yet, but yeah, the actors are still striking, so.
Yeah, the actors are striking, so they can't shoot.
Yeah, but he just needs to get, development done as much as he possibly could.
Mm-hmm. But now he can go back and write.
Yeah.
Rewrite.
I keep wondering this, God, I would know what to do with myself. If I have any idea in any creative capacity, song, whatever, something with words, whatever the fuck, it doesn't matter. I have to get it down. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, I don't
I'm
think...
ADD as hell. I can't remember shit. If it's not down somewhere, it's over. It's done. It's gone.
Yeah, I don't know. I suspect in the real world, people are just officially not writing, but they're writing. They're putting ideas on paper.
What if it's as simple as you just kind of wander through the room and you're like, well, I can't write anything down, but speaking to my spouse, were I to say something out loud as a possible muse of an idea, I wonder if someone might jot such a thing down who wasn't in a guild. I can pour a cup of water while one turns on their laptop.
Yeah. So, with the strike ending, Warner Brothers has lifted their suspension of the Bad Robot J.J. Abrams stuff.
Yep.
They've also...
I'd love to see what that turns into at some point.
Yeah, if anything.
If ever.
And Warner Brothers Studios Leavesden is going to become the primary production hub for DC Studios. It says James Gunn and Peter Safran's DC Studios just got a major vote of confidence from Warner Brothers Discovery. By the way, this is from comicbook.com. Mm-hmm. According to a press release from WBD, the company will put together a major expansion of their Warner Brothers Studios Leavesden Studios, previously the home for movies like The Batman, Barbie, Wonder Woman, and most of the Harry Potter movies. Warner Brothers Discovery has confirmed that this newly improved studio space will officially become a primary production hub for DC Studios. As part of this expansion, Warner Brothers Studios Leavesden will add 10 new sound stages and an additional 400,000 square feet of production and support space. The new expansion for Warner Brothers Studios Leavesden will bring the studio's total stage count from 19 to 29, with over 1.78 million square footage of production space when construction is complete. This will grow the size of the entire studio by more than 50%, with work expected to start in 2024 and be completed in 2027. Man, they're gearing up.
They are. Until you mentioned 19 to 29, I was like, is this by any chance where they burned down? We're going to start this whole new blah, 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 blah. You mean on the ashes? You mean on the ashes of... Okay.
Was that there?
Yeah, I think part of Warner Brothers caught fire for a second.
Yeah, but I don't think it was Leavesden. This is...
No, I don't think it was either.
Yeah, that was actually in LA.
I think that was proper.
Yeah.
The water tower and everything.
Mm-hmm. So the other day, James Gunn... Yeah. There was you could see the smoke next to the Animaniacs tower.
Mm-hmm.
The water tower.
For our generation, will that ever be anything else?
No.
Yakko, Wacko, and Daughter in that motherfucker, and you can't convince me otherwise.
Yeah. So Gunn released these pictures. He says, just released this stunningly gorgeous absolute edition of Superman for All Seasons. One of my favorite Superman stories and a huge influence on Superman Legacy.
I do need to read that again. It is really good.
And a strangely perfect bookend with All-Star Superman. The late, great Tim Sale's artwork and Bjarne Hansen's watercolor work have never looked better, nor have Ma and Pa Kent or Clark. God, I didn't read that right at all. Nor have Clark and Ma and Pa. Jeff Loeb's elegant, confident story still sings, and I would assume that is selling out quickly on Amazon. Look, Superman for All Seasons is fantastic. I am very, very happy to hear that it's a big inspiration for Superman Legacy.
Of course.
I love that book.
I've also just enjoyed that every time Gunn puts up, oh, this is something I'm reading as inspiration, the Amazon warehouses get cleaned out very quickly.
Uh-huh.
Just people reading shit. I like it.
Mm-hmm. Me too. And speaking of that, James Gunn posted this, a book called Strange and Unsung All-Stars of the DC Multiverse, a visual encyclopedia. And he says, many know I have a special fondness for the wilder corners of DC Comics, the forgotten or outlandish characters who I grew up laughing with or at, but who in every case fired up my imagination and my love of outcasts and oddballs. Now there's finally a book for folks like me, yes, including a foreword by me, 240 pages of guilty goodness with Arm Fall Off Boy, Colonel Computron, and Mod Gorilla Boss, and so many more on pre-sale now. And he did leave a link, and yeah, it's a collection of just weirdo characters from the DC pantheon.
I saw. I'm very tempted.
Mm-hmm. Me too.
Probably gonna grab it.
Yeah.
We'll add it to the Comic Castaways canon.
Yeah. We need to do more of those.
Yeah.
So it started on September 26th. Blue Beetle was available for early premium digital ownership at home for $24.99 and for a 48-hour rental via PVOD for $19.99 on participating digital platforms like Amazon Prime Video, Apple TV, Google Play, Vudu, all that shit. Starting October 31st, physical media collectors will be able to own Blue Beetle on 4K, UHD, Blu-ray, and DVD. And we don't know when it's coming to HBO Max. But that's the rundown on Blue Beetle.
I'm not a physical guy, but of course I have it on digital now.
Mm-hmm. And one last piece of news, man. Then we can call the episode. Doom Patrol got a trailer, and their final episodes will return October 12th.
I love how close that is.
I
love how close that is.
Yeah.
I did see that, but I didn't even look. I assume it's going to be weekly.
Probably. I don't know.
That'll get me through into the Christmas season.
Well, that and Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom.
I mean, yeah, but I'll just go watch that in like 2 hours. I'm going to have like 8 hours worth of Doom Patrol to watch.
That's true. That's true.
I hope it's that much. God damn, I love that show.
I enjoyed it up to this last season. It's kind of gone downhill for me, and I haven't caught up. It's just been getting harder and harder for me to keep up with it.
Oh, you gotta catch up before you get wary about it.
No,
that's only fair.
I got a little bored with the Sisterhood of Dada stuff. I was really excited about that.
Payoff though, in a lot of ways.
I haven't even gotten there yet. I'm just kind of, I got a little bored. It's a good show. I just got a little bored.
Because like what you're saying is also, it's like the Grant Morrison effect. The Sisterhood of Dada could not be more Grant Morrison on TV if something tried.
Yeah, I agree. But also there's a very real thing with Grant Morrison. Sometimes it's just amazing, and sometimes it's just so out there. You're just like, nope, I got to take a break.
Yeah, no, I mean you it's always interesting. It's always somewhere between interesting and mind-blowingly amazing. I don't know. He's an amazing writer. So minimum bar is it's so weird that you're thinking like, okay, I don't think I'm smart enough to understand what's happening now. I think I need to take a second, take a breather, because I've had that happen a few times with some writers where I'm like, I think the reason I'm bored is because I'm not smart enough to understand why this is good. And I have that happen with Grant Morrison a decent bit.
By the way, I think they go by they at this point.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Still, same effort.
Yes.
Won't change my point here.
No, I just wanted to point that out before, we get angry letters.
Yeah, well, fair enough, yeah.
I don't want to, which is ironic because Morrison, I don't know. It feels funny to not want to misgender Morrison, but like recently Morrison was talking about Ezra Miller and calling him he the whole time.
Oh, that is funny.
I was like, okay, well, whatever. But yeah, man, I look forward to it. My brain does a thing where I go into like, all right, well, I'm tired of this, so I don't want to watch this anymore. It just like, it gets stuck in my head that like, nope, I don't want to watch that anymore. And even trying kind of becomes a burden. But I don't know. I guess I was bored by a few episodes, and or maybe overwhelmed by the storytelling. I don't know. Or maybe I was tired. That could have been a thing too.
Well, if that was involved, any of those could be a thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would plug back in though. That show left me on, I don't know. I've been surprised about how amazing that show was the entire time. Just because it's supposed to be this like weird subset of fringe characters, but they took such good advantage of that.
Mm-hmm.
That I don't know. I thought it was going to be something I didn't care about because it's not one of the big leaguers, you know? No, fuck that. It was amazing.
Yeah, I loved the first couple of seasons and probably the first 3 for real, but I don't know. I don't know. I just got to a weird place with it.
I think it'd be fun when you get back. I mean, I'm up to date and enjoyed the shit out of it.
Cool. Yeah. I'm also like in a weird place where like I haven't finished. I'm like a season away at least on finishing The Flash.
I think all I'm behind really on is CW in general.
Yeah, you're behind on a lot of CW stuff. I just need to watch The Flash, the rest of The Flash.
Like CW and about halfway through Pennyworth.
Oh yeah, I never watched Pennyworth.
I think I'm
Damn
mostly up to date.
I need to finish Lucifer.
Yes, you do.
Damn it.
So badly. It cracks me up every time I've talked to you about this because you spent so much time in the trenches watching bad episodes of Lucifer. And now it's finally the best thing that I've seen regarding a topic like this. And you're like, well, I'll get around to it. Like, it's finally good. It's finally everything you wanted. And you're like, well, maybe. You suffered through the entire...
Yeah.
The whole, like, 4 or 5 seasons worth of 22 episodes of...
Well, look, part of it was that, like, I did start the first Netflix season, and you spent so much time telling me, like, oh, man, it's different. They're like, really leaning in and to the overarching story. We're getting Celestials. It's really a thing.
We used to call it the Celestial backstory, I think.
Yeah. I started watching the first couple episodes of season 4, and I was just like, this is damn procedural. This is not what he said it was.
It was a transition.
I was like, oh my God, it's the same shit again.
It's not. They had to transition the rest of the people who aren't us nerds into some actual sequential storytelling.
Oh.
It was incredible.
And then I think the topper on that one was the news that came out. They're like, oh yeah, for like season 5 or whatever it was, 6, I can't remember.
I think it was 6.
They were like, yeah, we're doing a flashback story where everybody's black and white, and we're doing, like...
I think that was like an episode.
Ancestors of the characters or some shit, and I was just like, oh my God, I hate that shit. I hate that trope so much.
I forget that. I think they did that for like an episode, maybe 2 or something.
Yeah, that sounds terrible.
It was.
Just no lines.
It wasn't terrible. It was terrible as an idea. Sorry. It wasn't actually terrible as an episode. In terms of concept, it would have been the same if you pitched me like, oh, in Archer so-and-so, we're going to do this like 3 seasons worth of he's not even, possibly not even alive. And we're going to do like a series of backdrops. We'll do, well, no, he was alive for Vice. No, he was dead for Vice.
Yeah, you know when I dropped off of watching Archer? Then.
Roughly around then. I still watch it.
Yeah. The space about the time where he was in the coma and we were just doing like all the different like time periods. This whole
bullshit. Genre. Yeah.
I hate this. Vice was fun because it was in the real world.
Just like an episode of that little genre exploitation kind of thing.
Yeah. I just anyway.
You'll like it. Just fucking watch it.
All right.
It's what you put all the time in for.
Mm.
It's like you spent all that time with a goddamn blow pop and don't want to chew it.
I don't.
You're at the bubble gum.
My teeth hurt.
I have cavities.
Just
spit out the fucking peanut butter, why don't you? Call it a Reese's.
If I spit out the peanut butter of a Reese's, I would have still enjoyed the chocolate.
That is kind of the problem with my... It's like peanut butter and licorice.
Ugh. All right. I'm going to call it.
Yep.
I hope you enjoyed this episode of DC On Screen. Thank you so much for listening. And we'll be back. You know what? I did a show with Meanwhile back at the podcast. We talked about The Flash. I'll post that in the stream at some point over the course of the week or next week. And So you'll have that to look forward to, but maybe we'll be back next week. I don't know anymore. Lives are crazy. But at the very least, we'll get back to you soon.
Yep, we'll be back.
We'll be back soon-ish. I felt bad. I went over to my friend Amy's house, and she was like, hey, you hear this podcast I'm listening to? And I'm like, yeah. And she's like, oh, yeah, you notice anything wrong? I was like, no, not really. She's like, yeah, it's not you. Where the hell's your episode, Dave? Where's the new episode of DC on Screen, Dave? I felt bad.
Mm-hmm. All right, fair enough.
I don't know. Fair
enough. We'll do the next one in her honor. Promptly.
No, we're doing this one in her honor. Let's get the honor out of the way.
Which we did not promptly. But yes, same point.
All right. Thanks for listening. Until next time, keep some DC on your screen.
Hey, thanks for listening to DC on Screen. Our theme song is by Jason Goss and Michael Shackelford of Galactic Engineers. The incidental music is by Michael Shackelford and Kevin MacLeod. You can rate the show on Spotify or rate and review us on Apple Podcasts. Doing that really helps push our show to new listeners, so your help would be much appreciated. You can also contact the show at DC On Screen on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook, or email us at dconscreen@gmail.com. To become a patron and get ad-free episodes and exclusive content, go to patreon.com/DCOnScreen. Your reviews and feedback may end up on a future episode of DC On Screen. DC On Screen is a production of Maladjusted.tv in association with Stranded Panda. If you haven't already, please be sure to subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or whatever damn platform you use.
Are you